Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayowealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
George, let's get to it because Tony Robbins, he's a motivational speaker, a financial guru, was talking about allocating retirement money into three buckets. You have your security bucket, a risk and a growth bucket, and a dream bucket. So, George, let's take a couple of seconds here and break those down for the families that you serve and start at the beginning. The importance of a security bucket.
Well, we're going to talk about these three, Mark, and then there's the fourth one we got to get to that I truly believe is very important for folks. You know, when you're working, you're trying to build wealth. We all know that. We're putting more money into our 401k or TSP, and we're trying to get that bucket. And then when we get ready to retire or are retired, we're no longer contributing. We got to keep what we have safe. And not everything goes under a mattress. We know that. But that security bucket should make about 60% of our retirement. That seems like a lot of money maybe, right? But 60%, you're about 60 years old when you retire, 65. So we can't afford to lose or be too aggressive in life, but we still need some aggression. So with the security, it's a safe money. We're going to make minimal growth, 4 or 5% annually with no downside risk. Great index, fixed index annuities, great option here for you. A lot of bells and whistles, but truly a part that has to be addressed. When we talk about the planning process for retirement, we talk about the different buckets, different streams of income. Where is it coming from? And security is one of those big streams. Another bucket we always hear about, obviously, is risk, growth, the manageable funds. And I use the seesaw mentality. Okay. They have these two funds, these two buckets for this. And when the risk money goes up, because folks, if someone's told you don't need risk in retirement, they're misleading you. Even though you're not working anymore, you still need to grow.
Let me ask you that. When you talk about you still need risk in retirement, is there an age where you need to be less risky?
I don't know if it's an age or there's a time frame when you become more conservative. When you're 35 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, we are not putting money into safety because we have that luxury. They have that luxury of time. We need to be aggressive. Jared and Alex, my sons that work for me, have their 401k. And if they're in safe investments, their 401k, we have a problem. Now, George and Leslie, we need to be a little more a mix of having safety in some avenues. Leslie has, I'll give you an example. Leslie lost her job 4 years ago. Company went out of business. We took her 401k and we put into safe money. Her new job she started the next day was 100% in the market, 100% at risk, 100% rolling the dice to get ahead in the game. So that's what we need to do and how we have to go. But it changes, Mark, as you get older. It's a sliding scale. So when you call me at 302-330-2166, we'll see how that seesaw works for you. What part of the seesaw are you at? You know, are we all safety? Of course not. Are we all at risk in our mid-60s, 60 and above? No, but we'd still need some risk. Did you ever hear the phrase when they have these fires? We have more fires going through North Carolina and South Carolina right now.
I heard about that.
Terrible what's going on. They're trying to do a controlled burn where they're burning the ahead of the fires, putting it out so it will stop. You have to have some controlled chaos with your retirement too. You need some controlled risk, manageable risk, but you still need some risk when it comes to retirement. We have to keep that in proportion to how we sleep at night.
I love that you said that. You need a little controlled chaos in your financial plan.
You like that, eh?
That's fantastic. 302-330-2166. Take advantage of the Family First Retirement Plan this weekend. If you've done a great job, you have a solid savings account, a 401k, you're lucky to have a pension, you're a federal employee, not sure what your next step is going to be, reach out to George Politarhos. Take advantage of that no-cost, no-obligation consultation. If you've saved at least $200,000 or more for your retirement, that's really where the power begins to start building upon your gains. We invite you to call right now, 302-330-2166. If you can't call now, lock that number in and call and hang up and call a little bit later today when you have some more time. Just a couple of quick pieces of information. But one more time, that number, 302-330-2166. All right, George, talking about the security bucket. A couple seconds there on the importance of having risk and growth in a bucket. And according to Tony Robbins, the dream bucket. Now, that sounds like fun.
We all have that, don't we?
Yeah.
My dream bucket consists of what's going to be right for Leslie and I because she's retiring May 23rd.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm real excited about that. But our dream bucket is those vacations we like to take. That time with Alex and Anna and Jared and Archer. Well, let me rephrase that. With Archer And then the other three.
Right, grandkid first.
He's bypassed them so quickly, it's not even funny. But that dream bucket is the things we want to do as a family. We're going to Greece next year. That's our dream bucket. And you have to have them. And you know something, Mark, I think what people have to realize, and when I speak to customers and clients, and really you're our family members, when we talk about retirement, I truly believe you have to visualize retirement. You have to be able to see what retirement looks like to you. When I speak to someone, they're like, we're thinking about retirement. I said, well, what's it look like? Oh, I don't know. We're just talking about it right now. They're not ready to retire because until you can visualize something, what's that called? A memory board, a visual board?
Yeah, dream board, a vision board.
Dream board, that's the word. So you need a dream board for your retirement. And that's really important. Start visualizing where we're going to go. And when we visualize it, this dream bucket is what we're starting to fund to make sure it's there. But that's just 3 of the 4 buckets.
And so you mentioned that before. You said before we got started here where Tony Robbins just talks about security, risk, growth, and a dream. You said there's another one.
Absolutely. When we meet with people, obviously we talk about taxes, we talk about planning. The big thing that we have to discuss with you, and we're going to discuss with you, is the long-term care. Because most of us have this 4th bucket that we're never going to touch. It's earmarked for the what-if moments. Mm-hmm. The good news is we are living longer. The bad news is we are living longer. And long-term care is a major concern for people. And they think, let's take a number, Mark. Pick a number out of the sky. Let's say $150,000.
Okay.
I got money. That's going to pay for long-term care. But how much is it? It's not a lot of money. If we say $10,000 a month, and then maybe that's a good number, maybe that's a bad, I think it's kind of a lower number for long-term care, and you have $150,000, well, in 12 months, I've gone through $120,000. It's not as much money as you think. We're going to talk to you about that and see where we can address this issue. When we go over this and you say, George, I'm good, I can afford to pay it for myself. Great. We're going to have you sign off on that. So when your son and daughter come say, you know, you did a great job helping mom and dad build, but why did you not help with this? Why are we going through all the retirement money? This is the reason. And it's not your father's or mother's long-term care. That's the better thing about this. If I don't use it, my kids get it.
Yeah.
Which they're going to get anyway. And they get the cash value. If I use it, well, I had it for that reason. And it's funny, Mark, Leslie is 60, and I'm a good-looking 59. We just went ahead and purchased our long-term care product only because I am so worried about things in the future.
Yeah.
I don't want my boys having to worry about taking care of mom and I. Well, mom, I'll be gone. Taking care of mom. And that's what makes it so important. That's the type of stuff we talk about when we come in. And you come into the office of 501 Silverside Road. So give me a call. Let's have a conversation. Let's start talking about it. Call us at 302-330-2166. And the problem, Mark, I think, your financial advisors, if you have one currently, are talking about, let's put money in investments. Let's risk money. Yeah, we can put some money over here in safety. Are they talking about taxes?
No.
Are they talking about long-term care?
Probably not.
You know why? It's not the conversation they're comfortable with making. And that's the sad part about this. Because this is your retirement, folks. Mm-hmm. It's not theirs. So call me either and speak with me. You're going to speak with Achilles. You're going to speak with Angie, Alex, Jared, and our strategic business partner, Ernie Kalais, our CPA, because we're going to find out about this. And let's get ready to move forward.
302-330-2166. You can call right now. We have a representative standing by. You can jot that number down. You can lock it in your phone. I know you got your phone set right next to you. If you just want to call and hang up, so you got the number close to you, call when you have a little more time. But we do invite you to make the call because that initial consultation, it's no cost. It's no obligation. 302-330-2166. And to put a bow on this bucket conversation, look, that's just what Tony Robbins says about security, risk, growth, the dream bucket. You added the importance of having the long-term care. But, George, I think it's important also the importance of having an emergency bucket as well. Does that go into the security and the long-term care side?
I look at that emergency bucket as part of my security, a sublet off of that security, because I want to have those liquid assets available at all times for that what-if moment. I always use my sons. What if Alex calls me and says, Dad, I need a new roof on the house. I need that accessibility to my funds immediately, and that's because my boys come first. And most parents and grandparents feel the same way. But, you know, Mark, you got to remember something out there, folks. We talked about 4 buckets. It could be 7 buckets because we're individuals. What your wants, desires, and needs are different than Mark Owens's or George Politarhos'. That's why when you work with Portrayal Wealth, it's customized. Hey, you know, George, I want to have a separate bucket set up just for my grandchildren to help fund their college, and we're going to start funding it. How? How do we fund this, and how are we going to manage this? It's so important to understand things are not written in stone. Plans are not written in stone.
You know, I laugh. You talk about, I want to put a bucket together just for the grandkids. Who are we kidding, George? Your bucket for the grandkids, it's not a bucket. It's a damn Olympic-sized swimming pool. Like, that's how big.
Oh, my God. Do me a favor. When you call in, I want you to speak with Jared, and it's my office manager, ops manager at the office here, Jared Politarhos, and say, I need a new pool for my grandson, and watch my son's head explode. Can I tell a quick story here, Mark? We have time?
Your show. Yes, sir.
My son's always wanted a pool in the backyard, in-ground pool. I'm like, I don't want a pool. We don't have a pool. I made up a story. There's a water stream in our yard or something. Right. We're not putting a pool in. Well, now my wife is retiring. She goes, I really want a pool. I said, no, Les, we're not getting a pool. She says, well, Archer wants a pool. So guess what?
Get the pool.
We have him coming to put in a pool. And Jared, my son, is ballistic. He goes, well, what are you doing a pool for, Dad? I said, well, Archer wants a pool, Jared, so we got to do it. So you call us, say, that's all you were Dad say. Jared, Archer wants a pool, and it's conversation's over.
Hold, please.
Oh, my gosh.
And then Achilles is going to pick up and say, hey, can I help you today? Because now Jared is having a temper tantrum in the middle of the Betrayal Wealth Group home office.
Oh, my God, it's hysterical.
But how many grandparents are listening right now saying, man, you are speaking my language, George. I want those grandkids. I love my kids, but, man, I want those grandkids to have their best life possible. 302-330-2166. Again, 302-330-2166. You can meet the entire team that we talk about every week here on Family First Retirement, and you can put faces to the voice that you hear every week in George Politarhos when you visit PatriaWealth.com, P-A-T-R-I-A Wealth.com. And, George, who are we talking to this weekend? Who is the person that is ripe for retirement right now? Or is it fair to put an age saying, I'm going to retire by this number?
When you put an age to it, Mark, doesn't that mean you're just like everyone else?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not. The government has an age they think you should retire, according to your Social Security report, based on when you're born. Maybe your employer has an age. If you're a police officer, you have to retire at 50. But I don't think it fits that way. When we talk about retirement, who's right for retirement? I think you have to have a plan in place to go over that. Because we want to see what good is it to retire if you can't live? We have to work to get to retirement, making sure we have our expenses in check, making sure we have enough money in our save bucket, enough money in our risk bucket, enough money for the emergency funds. We need to make sure that we're financially secure to do it. And that comes at a different age for everybody. This past week, a gentleman retired him, and he's going to be 68. He said, I think it's enough time working. On Monday, I retired someone that was 56.
Yeah.
He said, I think it's enough time. I'm done working. Both were right at their situation because we go through the plans. I hate to say that. I sound like a broken record, Mark. But it's not about what's right for the Joneses or the Smiths or for Mark Owens. It's what's right for you and your family. My brother Pete is retired at 65. Just retired. He's living the great life. But it's the right time for Pete. George is 59. I am just starting my life. I love what I do every day. So when's retirement for George? If I ever retire, I don't know. I love what I do.
Yeah.
So it fits where we want to go. And I think that last line means a lot. If you wake up every day and you say, good Lord, I got to go do this again, that may push that number around a little bit. I think it's all about having conversations.
You've said it before, George. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you've said it before. How many times do you get a call from somebody from this show that says, George, I just need to know, where am I? I'm tired of traffic. I'm tired of the rat race. I'm tired of HR. Just help me understand, where am I at? So at least I can see that light at the end of the tunnel. How do you help get me there?
We have that conversation. And you got to think, it's a conversation that you may not want to say or have or listen, but having that third party step up and say, we can do X, but this is the consequences. And seeing through because retirement's great, Mark. We know that. It's a fog. And sometimes we get blinded by the desire because we're having a bad day, bad week, maybe a bad year. But we got to look at the long picture. This is the long game. And we just have to have a conversation. And the conversation starts with you calling us at 302-330-2166 or stopping in here at the office at 501 Silverside Road, right down the street from the station. Let's sit and look and see where we're going. I think when people see the hard facts and the numbers, and it's funny, people say, I can't retire. And they come in and talk, and we have this conversation. And then when we're done putting the plans together, putting the reports together, like, wow, we can retire. And the tears of happiness. Give us a call, 302-330-2166, and just start the conversation. It's all about, if more politicians communicated with each other, we'd be better off, right?
All right, now you got that
How
crazy
about we
speak
communicate? Communication.
Now.
Oh my gosh. You supposed to talk to your spouse?
302-330-2166. Really good conversation this weekend. And if you're listening to George and you're thinking to yourself, I don't even know what kind of buckets I have. I don't know what I have allocated where. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If anything, George loves to hear that. He's like, great, man. Let's see where you're at. Let's start building a strategy and putting a plan together. 302-330-2166. But if you've saved at least $200,000 or more for your retirement, and again, that's spread across your 401k, a pension, a savings account, an IRA. That's where the power begins to really start building upon your plan. 302-330-2166 or always online at betrayalwealth.com. Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.